make it a better place. It'll take creation.
Hi everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life's Little Blessings. Today we're going to make a card using these couple stamp sets right here, and then I am using some purple cardstock, which I don't use very often. We're going to start here by just cutting this cardstock down, and recently I have really been liking putting my cards on a white card base, so I've just been doing the colored cardstock on as a card front, and then I attach it to the white cardstock. So I cut that at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I have a piece of Back to Black designer series paper, and I always just take a 1/4 inch off my layers. Just seems to be what works for me. So the second layer there it would be 4 by 5 1/4. So that's just a really easy way for me to layer my cards, and I feel like it looks really nice. So I'm just going to attach that there to the front, and then I have another piece of that purple cardstock that's Elegant Eggplant, and we're going to cut that at 2 1/2, and then I believe I do it. Nope, we're going to cut it at 2. I decide to go down a little bit farther and cut it at 2, and then we're going to cut it at I cut it down again. Sorry about that, you guys. I forgot I cut it down so many times. It ends up being 2 inches, and I think I cut it at 4. So then once I do that, I'm just going to take this cardstock, and I am going to use that background stamp. And this background stamp is actually no longer available, and I didn't realize that when I was making the card. I tend to keep all of my background stamps just because I like them, and they're a nice investment, and I find that I can just use them for lots of different things. So I just went ahead and cleaned this up, and then we're going to use Elegant Eggplant ink and stamp that onto this strip of cardstock, and that just gives a tone on tone effect. And that stamp right there is stained white because I used white stays on it. So I'm just going to take and lay down my purple cardstock here, and I use a little piece of paper and then push it all down, and then you see it's magically done. So I lift that up, and then I'm just going to put a flag end on it in just a second. But I'm going to do a couple other things real quick. I'm going to punch a white piece of paper with a 2 1/2 inch circle punch, which is retiring. So if you would like to pick that up, you might want to do it very quickly because it's retiring and going away. So one of my favorite punches, actually, that 2 1/2 inch punch, I tend to use a lot. I'm using Stays On ink here to go ahead and stamp this, and that is because I like to use Stays On ink whenever I'm stamping something that has an intricate design like that, because I feel like it stamps a lot cleaner and the image is clearer. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment here onto the circle. And we get finished with that, and we're going to go ahead and fussy cut the little hello out, and then we'll also put a flag in on that purple piece of cardstock. It didn't take very long at all to just fussy cut that piece out. I was actually in a hurry since I was filming, and I wish I would have been a little bit more careful. I left a little bit of white right at the top of that, and you'll see that when I attach that to the card. But then I just put a little flag at the very end of the purple piece, and then we're going to go ahead and attach that here to the designer paper. Now, I'm doing this for the Global Design Project website. This is a cased project this week, and that just means that you look at the card or the project that the designer did, and then you case it, which means to copy and selectively edit the design to come up with something that you like. So there was some stripes in the designer's project, and there was a little sentiment kind of down here in the corner, and so that is what the inspiration for this card was. So I just went ahead and attached that there down in the lower end there, and then I just put the hello in the corner, and you can see that I didn't get it quite trimmed close enough. There's a little bit of white there, but it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So then I'm using the silver linen thread, and all I do is put a little bit of adhesive right there in the middle of that flag, and then you see I'm just swirling, I guess is a good word, for the thread, and it's sticking out everywhere and it looks kind of messy. But then what I'm going to do is just take some dimensionals and put it over that sentiment. And no worries, I stamped it wrong the first time and then stamped it again. So that's why you saw the dimensionals going right over the sentiment. No worries though. So then I'm just going to sprinkle some sequins onto this card. And I just use glue dots. That's a tip that I have for you guys, is just using glue dots for sequins. Most of the time they fit unless you have really tiny sequins. And then even if you do, you can kind of smush those glue dots right up under the sequins, and it actually gives those sequins a little bit of dimension, and I feel like they stick better when going through the mail. They don't fall off, and you don't have to mess with liquid glue. I don't really enjoy messing with liquid glue much. So I'm just sprinkling some of these sequins over the card just to give it, I wanted to give it a little something extra, and I thought about using rhinestones, but I thought these silver sequins would go really pretty with the elegant eggplant. So that is pretty much the card right there, you guys. I did this in another color. Oh, I do add rhinestones. Look at that. See, you just can't have enough bling on your cards anyways. So I do add a little bit of sequins. I like to put things in groupings of either 2 or 3. So you can see I'm actually putting those rhinestones right next to the sequins and just rounding it out a little bit. I feel like it always looks nicer. The eye picks it up a little bit more. But I also did this in one other color. I did it in mint macaroon, and you're going to see that right now. Here you go. So the first one is in elegant eggplant, and then the second one is in mint macaroon, and it's on the white card base. So I will just add that white card base to the elegant eggplant, and that will finish that card off. I really enjoyed creating this card and using this stamp set. The stamp set is retiring, and it is actually at a discounted price. So if you want any one of those 2 items, you'll want to pick those up. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and checking out this video. I have 2 other videos here for you guys. I have a black and red thank you card, which is actually another global design project card, and I didn't even realize that. And then I have a Project Life core kit organizational video, and that you can check that out. I get 3 core kits into 1 box. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know this is a little different, me doing a voiceover to a video, but I just did not have a choice last week. The kids were in my office and I wanted to get a video done for you guys. So I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll be back on Tuesday tomorrow to hang out with you guys some more. And I have a very special video, so make sure you come back and hang out with me again tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.